Hello, I'm Matt Mapes. I'm the Deputy Court Administrator and Magistrate here at the 63rd District Court. I worked here about 2.5 years. I came to the 63rd District Court after spending about 9 to 9.5 years in Ottawa County and worked for the 20th Circuit Court there. Now, what does the 63rd District Court do? So the court system overall provides a neutral arena for disputes so they can be resolved. We are committed to the prompt, courteous, and fair disposition of justice by adjudicating cases in a timely manner, using effective and efficient case management techniques, adhering to the highest standards that maintain the statutory and constitutional rights of citizens, monitoring the enforcement of judgments, and being responsible stewards of public funds. We are the court system. We look to offer a neutral arena for people to have their disputes resolved. Those might be criminal cases, civil cases, whatever it may be, but we worked again to offer a fair and neutral arena to get that done. The district court is often called the people's court because more people have contact with the district court than really any other court that exists. Think about it. You're probably more likely to have a speeding ticket or maybe running a stop sign than you would to be having contact with the Supreme Court or the bankruptcy court or anything else like that. So because of that, most people have contact with the court system at the district court level. Okay. Let's take a brief moment to talk about the jurisdiction that the district court has over certain case types. So we do start every criminal case here. So if a state law is broken, we start every criminal case here. So criminal cases are broken down into two major categories based on the type of offense and really the severity of the offense. You have misdemeanor offenses first. Misdemeanor offenses are offenses that have a maximum jail penalty of up to 1 year. Common misdemeanors may be things like driving while your license is suspended or something like driving while under the influence or drunk driving. Those are very common misdemeanors. We also have retail fraud. Retail fraud is another common term for shoplifting. If you had gone to a Meijer or a Walmart store and stolen some things, you may be charged with retail fraud in certain degrees, and those are held here at the district court. We also are the starting point for all felony cases. So this could be a very major case, such as a murder case or anything like that. Those cases all start at the district court before they're eventually bound over to the circuit court downtown, the 17th Circuit Court. We're also responsible to hear civil infractions. Civil infractions are traffic or parking infractions. So these are speeding tickets. These are running a stop sign. These are parking next to a fire hydrant. Those are all civil infractions that we hear at this courthouse. Now, oftentimes that is just people make a payment and we cycle the payment through the system. But other times people disagree with those citations, disagree with those tickets, and they'll pursue those through our system. We also are responsible for municipal and state civil infractions, such as building codes. Maybe it's dog violations, dog leash laws, noise ordinances is a big one, park offenses, and potentially other minor violations of state law. Our third kind of major branch here are civil cases. So civil cases are always monetary disputes in some way, shape, or form. We handle what's called general civil cases, which is any kind of monetary dispute where people are seeking judgments up to $25,000. So again, lawsuits between two or more parties seeking money damages. They may also be seeking injunctions or some other kind of equitable relief. We also handle small claims cases. Small claims cases are very similar to general civil cases, the difference being that we don't allow attorneys. So think of these as disputes between people where they have a maximum amount of damages of up to $6,000. So if you may have watched like a people's court on television, those are very often small claims types cases, okay? We also handle landlord-tenant cases. Landlord-tenant cases are cases where a landlord or a plaintiff may file to seek possession of a premises. Somebody's living in an apartment or in a home without paying their rent or whatever it may be. We also are able to hold marriages. So we will hold marriage ceremonies every Thursday. You'll see those held in our courthouse. You'll see some people coming in their white wedding dress and suit and tux, and we're able to hold those every week as well. I do want to take just a moment to talk about an additional department that we have here at the courthouse, and it's our district court probation office. So our probation office is helmed by about 8 people. And what probation is about is, let's say you're convicted or you plead guilty to a misdemeanor crime. The judge may place you on probation, and while you're on probation, you may have to abide by certain conditions. Now, the purpose of probation is to really help you improve your life, help you make better decisions, and give you assistance as needed. Think about somebody that may have committed a crime in order to maybe support a drug habit. The probation department can help people by setting up things like drug testing to ensure they're not using, counseling to ensure that they're getting some further assistance. We have a lot of different ways that we assist people in not only improving themselves, but hopefully reducing recidivism, which means we can help people not continue to reoffend or not continue to break the law. Education, well, I started with I graduated from high school. I went to Grand Haven High School, graduated there. I went to Michigan State University from there and got my bachelor's degree. After I completed Michigan State, I came back, and that's when I started working in Ottawa County. While at work in Ottawa County, I went back and received my master's degree from Grand Valley State University. After completing my master's degree, I also took a specialized certificate program offered by Michigan State, all related to court administration. The court administration program really allows you to see the big picture level of what it takes to not only manage a court, but also serve the public in the best way possible. Prior to working here at the 63rd District Court, I worked for about 10 years at the front of the court office with the 20th Circuit Court in Ottawa County. So that was the new Ottawa County Courthouse in downtown Grand Haven. In the state of Michigan, it takes 6 months minimum to get divorced if you have minor children. So during that 6 months, the court and parties often need some kind of an agreement or legal document in place so they can talk about things like child custody or child parenting time or child support. So my role was to bring the parties together and have what's called a coordination conference, which was to talk to the parties, talk through what's going on, talk about the current situation, living situation, and come up with a game plan for that 6 months. A lot of people had those agreements. They would bring them in, we would formalize them in writing, and that would be the end of it. For the parties that couldn't agree, then ultimately I would make a recommendation to the judge, and the judge would make a recommendation going forward about how to handle the custody, parenting time, and support of those children during that 6-month period of time. Okay, so what is my role here at the courthouse? Well, I really have dual roles, and really depending on kind of what role I'm taking at that time, it can be a variety of different tasks. Let's start with the majority of my responsibilities. So I'm the deputy court administrator. So think of a basic courtroom scenario. You have a judge, you have a clerk, you have the plaintiff or the prosecutor, you have a defendant, and you're having a general court hearing, okay? My team and I are responsible for everything that makes that hearing happen. We're responsible for the courtroom itself to make sure the building is operating, make sure the audio system is working, make sure the court hearing is being recorded, make sure the computer is working. We're responsible to make sure that people can get into that courtroom safely. We're responsible for the entire process that brought people to that courtroom. We're responsible to receive the original filed document. We're responsible to send notice of the hearing. We are responsible for everything that brings people there. Now, we don't work as the prosecutor. We don't actually bring the charges. We don't actually charge the individual. But what we do is we help to set up, again, a neutral arena for people to discuss their disputes or work through those cases. I'm also required to stay up to date on changing laws and rules coming from the state legislature or from the Supreme Court. We want to make sure we're providing fair, timely access to justice for all people. Also, I'm responsible for public outreach. So I do things like host our court's internship program or public satisfaction surveys, just to make sure that we're able to communicate and spend time working with people in the community. I'm one of 3 magistrates that we have on staff here also. So the role of a magistrate is that we're authorized by our judges and by the state law to preside over specific types of hearings and really assist our judiciary, assist our 2 judges. So we can hold hearings for specific criminal cases, also civil infractions. We also can preside over certain civil cases or certain civil hearing types and can conduct marriages. Perhaps the magistrate's largest job is to assist with search warrants or arrest warrant requests. This authorization really can happen at any time of day. We have magistrates and judges get placed on what's called the on-call calendar, which means if something happens in the middle of the night, a magistrate can get a phone call and work with a detective or work with a law enforcement deputy or work with the prosecutor if they are seeking a search warrant for certain types of situations. Think of like a drunk driving case. If they're looking to potentially draw blood from somebody they believe may be intoxicated, they can't do that without a search warrant, and certain protocols have to be followed. So that is the role of the magistrate as well, is to review those protocols, make sure things are up to par, and then authorize a search warrant in those cases. All right, so what is interesting about my job? Well, really, the biggest interesting thing is that you get to see such a variety of different things. Every criminal case is really a different person with a different story from a different place with a different background, okay? Nothing is as cut and dry as it seems. Nothing is as basic as it seems. With misdemeanor cases, we can see the profound effect of split-second decisions on family and people. On a daily basis, really the court schedule changes. We have different hearing types on different days. So some days we may have strictly criminal hearings all day, and that can be anything from an arraignment, which is the start of a criminal case, when people learn about the charges and the potential penalties that they're being charged with. We may also have a full criminal trial. We may bring in 20 to 30 people to select a jury and hold a full trial and have the jury render a verdict. So we really have a lot of variety depending on kind of what day of the week. If you check out the Access Kent website, you can check out our court schedule, see what's happening. Oftentimes court hearings are available to the public, open to the public. Obviously that's changed a little bit with COVID-19, and there's also some specific case types that are non-public. But for the majority of cases, you have the ability to walk in, sit in court, and watch any kind of court hearing as an observer. If you'd like to observe some more court hearings, you can do so really, especially right now, while the courthouse is closed to the public. If you go to our Access Kent webpage, you'll see a few links. Every time we have an active court hearing, we're live streaming those hearings on YouTube. If we're unable to live stream those hearings for some kind of technical issue, we'll post them on YouTube immediately following and leave them up for 24 hours. Any hearing that's open to the public will be available there. It's just like you're sitting in the gallery and viewing the hearing live. It's also important to say that things have changed here with the coronavirus and COVID-19. Our courthouse has been open to essential business only, really since mid-March. So we're in June now. We have been holding every hearing virtually. We've been holding them hearings via Zoom. You may have completed your school year via Zoom. It's changed things in a lot of ways, but there's been a lot of benefits. And the biggest benefit really has been that we've been able to evaluate a lot of our processes. We've been able to streamline the best that we can. We've been able to learn new technologies that maybe we wouldn't have used in the past. Looking to the future, the State Court Administrator's Office and the Michigan Supreme Court are really looking to implement a lot of new ideas. Probably the biggest shift is that the Supreme Court and the State Court Administrator's Office are looking to build a state e-filing system. What the state e-filing system would be is that we would effectively work to get rid of all the paper that we have in court. So I want you to think of all the court files, the tens of thousands of cases that we handle every year. Every one of those files is based in paper. We have a paper file jacket. We have a lot of information in paper in those files. We're looking to effectively get rid of that paperwork. If you'd like to learn more, make sure you visit us online at www.accesskent.com or visit the State Court Administrator's website at courts.michigan.gov.